everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
And I'm T Outlaw.
And you are listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. As always, you can catch me, JJ Outlaw, on Twitter at JJ Outlaw. You can listen to me. I did it again. I did it last week too, but I guess listen to me could work. On the Instagram, because I'm at Gourmet Goober on Instagram. And we recently started our own IGTV channel with Instagram, so you can see and listen to me.
See, there you go.
You can email us at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com. We are on Facebook, although, to be honest, we don't aggressively use Facebook as much as we'd like, at the Gourmet Goober blog. And, of course, there's thegourmetgoober.com, so just a variety of ways to get a hold of us. And you heard his voice already so far on the podcast. I'm here with my hubby and BFF and all around that dude, Big Daddy, aka T Outlaw.
Hi, that would be me, T Outlaw.
Where can they catch you online?
You can catch me online at Twitter, that being T Outlaw, TOUTLAW, on Twitter, and on Instagram at T Outlaw Josie Wells, like the movie.
All right, awesome. Well, you are listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. We're so glad that you're here. If you're a new listener, you may be interested to know we always start out our podcast talking about how our things went this week. And so how was your week, Big Daddy?
My week, for the most part, was fairly serene.
Nice.
Yes, I give thanks during Thanksgiving for the ability to go to work, earn a paycheck, do the things I need to do to help take care of my family. Yes, I worked on Thanksgiving. Yes, I worked on
Thanksgiving now.
That is true. That is my thing. I do work on Thanksgiving and most of the time. And this time, yes, I worked on Black Friday, so no Black Friday deals for me, nor Cyber Monday, nor Giving Tuesday. Even though, yeah, for the most part, it was serene. I just did my thing. It was a workman's week for me, so nothing really happened. But once again, I like to give thanks for the ability to get up and go to work, and also the ability to have enough air in my system to get through a week where I was feeling a little under the weather. So for the most part, I was doing okay. So for the most part, yes, I give thanks for God giving me the breath, God giving me the ability to use my hands to do work and to do his bidding.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you had a lot going on. And like I said, you always work during Thanksgiving. And to be fair, you guys, part of it is what you do because of you work in media.
Mm-hmm.
And, with the type of media you do, dealing with sports, unfortunately, there's always, like I tell people all the time, they're like, why is it your husband work every Thanksgiving? I'm like, well, first of all, the news happens every Thanksgiving. I don't know about you. So you expect to get a paper every day. If you do subscribe to a paper, well, that's kind of important. So yeah, he's got to be there. There's no holiday. And then two, given what you do, Thanksgiving's like full of football games and stuff. So just like Christmas is usually full of that too, although that's different because that's your birthday. But yeah, as a general rule, we just are used to celebrating Thanksgiving a little bit earlier, a little bit later, because usually very early in the day you have to run and catch a train to make it to downtown Chicago.
Yes.
So yeah. I wish I could say that my last couple weeks have been as serene. It has not been. It has been really, really stressful. This week alone, I've worked, let's see. I know I worked 6 days this last week, so I have 1 day off. And then the times that I have worked have been 10 and 12-hour days. Because I work for a nonprofit and this is an extremely busy time of year with donations. And then in the midst of this, I'm writing a grant and designing a newsletter. And Big Daddy's kind of giving me the stink eye because he's worried about all the burning the candles at both ends that I've been doing.
Yeah, because for the most part, during the year, part of your job and the job of a lot of people within this industry is soliciting donations and helping people come, receive these gifts. And the thing is, like, most of the year, it's all like, about like, please help us do this, or please help support us during this point. And we're now at the point where, okay, all this support is pouring in, whether it be through Thanksgiving to Christmas. And now your job and the job of other people within is to receive these gifts and best distribute them. So that can be taxing for the people who are laboring to get these efforts taken care of. So I give thanks to the Gourmet Goober also for being able to handle all this, but it can wear her down too.
Yeah, it's been a long couple weeks. I'm going to be honest with you. To the point where I think I kind of just sat in my car and I was like,
no, just you sleep in
so
your car.
Beyond stress. But there was some highlights. Like this month, a lot of the grants that I wrote earlier the year come in, and all of them have come in. Like I've got awarded all the grants that I applied for. So if you're a grant writer, you know that that's something that's a really stressful time. In fact, one of the grants in particular, I was so sure we were not going to get, and we got it. Mm-hmm. So I went and told the executive director, and she was really thrilled, and she took me to the different offices to let them know that I got it. And I just kind of went in my office and shut the door for a minute and just kind of cried. I can laugh now, but it was not funny at the time because I was just absolutely just tired and just blown away that I got it. And it was just like, oh my God, what's going on?
Wait a minute, did they take you in front and they were just like, oh, she just brought us in some money. Hercules. She bringing in some cash.
They should.
Yes.
Because last week alone, I brought in, with the number of grants that I got, it was
a lot of money.
It was over 100,000.
Wait a minute, did you get a little something to scratch with?
No, I don't. They don't do that. And
they don't like, y'all ain't throwing money up in the air like,
no one is making it rain. No one is making it rain.
But did you at least make it drizzle?
I gotta thank you.
Thank you, nothing. I'm talking about like y'all just be like rolling around and just be like, I'm bringing in the money like Oprah.
Okay. No one is rolling around like Scrooge McDuck in the money. Okay.
Okay.
But that said, there were some highlights of my week. And I think part of the reason why is let me take a step back. I'm obviously really happy that I got all the grants. And I think part of it is I'm just running on fumes right now. So next week, this upcoming week, I actually worked 5 days. I have 2 days off in a row. Well, kinda. I still have to finish a couple grant applications. But the point I'm trying to make is at least it's not going to be so stressful that I can actually, get some rest, which is important. And it kind of leads me to thinking about how I want to spend my 2020 and what things I want to value. But that's for another conversation. But highlights of my week. There were some bright spots.
Okay.
One bright spot of my week is that we launched a store. Yay! So since you guys have last heard the Gourmet Goober, we now have a merchandise store because over the time that we've been recording the Gourmet Goober, there's been a couple things that we've said that listeners have said, oh my gosh, you should totally put that on a t-shirt. So we took your advice and we did.
Yes, we did.
So now you guys can check it out. If you want to go, and I'll put it in the show notes as well. It's shop.spreadshirt.com/plumgood. Plumgood is spelled Plumgoode. But you can check out some of the cool stuff that we have as far as merch. That sounds silly that we're official now that we have merchandise.
That's right. We have a store, so thus y'all got to come on in. We got to get that hookup. Come on, help brother and sister out.
Well, yes, but they are some cool things for the holidays, just in case you guys are Christmas shopping. Everything from Gooberland, which comes from the blog, by the way, and it's the nickname that some of our readers have given the blog over the years, Gooberland, to my personal all-time fave that my dad has said that he wants it on his own sweatshirt for the holidays. My personal mantra of being a little bit gourmet and a lot ratchet.
Because that's the gourmet goober.
That is pretty much my life, actually.
Little gourmet,
a lot ratchet. So if you ever wanted that on a mug or a t-shirt, come
on through.
Just kind of hook up. And I think we even have some discounts as well. So I'll put that in the show notes as well. So it's kind of cool that we have that. The other thing that it was totally the highlight of my week comes courtesy of Big Daddy. I am going to the NBA Rising Stars game. Woo! Woo-hoo. So if you don't know what that is, NBA, the National Basketball Association, every year they have their All-Star game, which is a place for a lot of veterans, a lot of current athletes, some of the best in the world in the league. They bring in the WNBA as well. It's kind of like this weekend-long celebration of everything professional basketball. And I, growing up in Indianapolis, am a NBA fiend. So much so that one of the highlights of every year, no matter what, is the NBA All-Star Weekend for me, with the dunk contests, with the All-Star Game itself. I love everything about it. I've always loved everything about it. And the NBA usually kicks off the weekend every year when they go to different cities. And this year, or in 2020 rather, they are going to Chicago this season. And so they kick off the All-Star Weekend every season with the Rising Stars Challenge. And they've had different versions of this over the years, but right now, the Rising Stars Challenge, the way they do it, is usually they have the best rookies and the best sophomores play each other, right? So when they announced that they're coming to Chicago, I told Big Daddy, I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to an NBA All-Star event. That is my dream. I've never missed an All-Star game in my entire life. I've never missed an NBA All-Star Saturday in my entire life. I have to do something. It's in our backyard in Chicago. And somehow or another, Big Daddy pulled it together and was able to get us tickets to the Rising Stars game on Friday night. I'm just so thrilled. So I already told people at work, like, don't ask me to write any grants. Don't ask me to do anything. I'm dipping out that weekend. You're not going to see me. And it's going to start off with that game.
So basically, if I turn around on, like, if I get there by Monday and I don't see the gourmet goober, then I'm thinking she's probably left with one of those NBA All-Stars. But for the most part, yes.
Well, Dirk is not playing. I'm not going to run off with Dirk.
I hope not. Hopefully he's in Germany somewhere, like, counting his Wiener Schnitzel or Dusseldorf or whatever.
Big Daddy has a problem with my fandom with Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, her
we have talked about this before. He is Gumbo worthy, and that's all I'm going to say.
No. But anyway, no, she was able to give me the link, and I was able to finish the deal. And yeah, so we're going to, in person, to see the NBA All-Star Rising Stars Classic in Chi-Town. And hopefully we will see what comes from that. There's also a fan experience that we may check out, just depending on how the weekend goes.
Yeah, we're talking about going to the fan experience as well, which sounds like it's going to be pretty cool, right? It's going to be, what, in Navy Pier?
Yes. And Navy Pier, especially during special events, holidays, New Year's, summer, always lit. So the most important thing is that, being at the fan experience and checking out, the ins and outs will be part of our little entourage. We're going to try to make that happen.
Yeah. Now, ultimately, what I would love to do is also go to All Star Saturday and to the game itself. And just to make it clear, you guys, when I tell you that I have never missed an episode of the NBA All Star game and the All Star Saturday night, the contest that takes place before the game, I am not kidding. Like when Big Daddy and I met in college, there were very few rules that I gave my students when I was an RA. But one of the things I straight out told them every year is like, look, unless the building is burning the hell down, the fuck down, do not interrupt me during an all-star game. If I miss Reggie Miller in the 3-point contest because y'all had a fight, oh, it's on. You and I can't be friends. When Big Daddy and I had our first real date, remember that? We went to semi-formal, and it was on All-Star Weekend. And I said, Saturday, yeah. Look, I'll go with you to the semi-formal. This is a big date for us. But you know what else? We have to take the All-Star game because I can't miss it. So we actually, on our first date, this is a true story, we go out and we have this amazing time. It was the first time we saw each other dressed up. What were we, like 2021?
Yes.
Yeah. And it was a long time ago, you guys. But it was a big date. It was like, I think that was even the first time we kissed. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. It was the first time that you and I had kissed.
That's right. I deliver.
But we came back after that date, and I was like, look, I have to know who won the dunk contest. So we sat in your room, and we watched the dunk contest.
I kept my hands where they were supposed to be.
Yes, he did behave himself. But the point I'm trying to make is, it's like a huge part of my life. When I miss it, my dad sometimes calls me and like, oh my gosh, are you watching this? Did you see the dunk contest? It's just always been a part of my life. And so to be so close to the All-Star game and not be able to actually experience it would just be so wrong. So I'm just so thrilled that Big Daddy did that. Let me just tell you, my Friday was so bad because I worked like 11 hours. Yeah, it was an 11-hour day. It was a 2-hour commute. I had taken the train and I missed my train, which means that I had to wait another 2 hours to get home. So I didn't get home till like 10 o'clock that night.
Mm-hmm.
But the highlight when you said, hey, I know you're having a bad day. Let me brighten it for you by telling you I got these tickets. That was everything. So Big Daddy has won the lottery for best hubby ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And going into next year when it's in where?
It's in Indianapolis. I'm so excited.
JJ Outlaw's hometown.
Yeah, so the All-Star weekend is going to be in Indianapolis for 2021. So I'm just warning you guys now, there will be no podcast that weekend. It'll just be me wilding out in my hometown, just trying to enjoy myself. Hopefully the ticket prices will be much less than it is in in Chicago, though, because part of the reason why that we had to settle for the Rising Stars game, you guys, was because the expense to go see the All-Star game is just insane. So they put out these prices, and I'm not sure if they're going to price them individually so you can just go to the game, or you can just go to All-Star Saturday. And I guess if I have to choose, what would you choose? If you had to choose between the two of them, I guess I would choose All-Star Saturday, because it's like such a big part of our life. Like we try never to miss a dunk contest. Like if you had to choose between buying tickets to the All-Star game and then the Saturday prior, which would you choose?
No, I'm going to be contrarian and say I would rather go to the All-Star game.
Really?
To see the stars. I know the stars.
Well, their stars are going to be there on All-Star Saturday.
I mean, most of the stars are in the building, but sometimes you'll have one or two that are with their families, or you just don't see them because they're like you'll have some stars who are participating in the skills competitions, but some of the biggest stars are just kind of like on the sidelines. They're like in street clothes or whatever, and you don't really see them perform. I would rather see the athletes. I know even if it's an exhibition clowning around, I would truly rather see the spectacle of the introductions, the halftime show. I would rather see the All Star game than the All Star skills competitions, but that's just me.
Honestly, I mean, yes, all things being equal, of course I'd love to go see the game, but the All Star weekend, I mean, I've always dreamt to be in the audience of being able to vote for the dunk contest. That just seems like it's really cool every year, and they hold up the thing, and it's like a whole experience. So I've always wanted to do that. That said, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that in Chicago. We might be able to pull it off in Indianapolis because the prices in Chicago are just insane. So we decided to check it out, and we're like, okay, what if we just like saved and just like totally did it? And the prices for it, like they have something that's called their All-Star. What is it called again? It was their All-Star experience. So their package includes the All-Star Saturday night access to the skills challenge, the 3-point contest, the dunk contest. You get tickets to the 69 annual NBA All-Star game on that Sunday. They give you a gift. You have a souvenir lanyard. And then there's a 2-hour pregame hospitality at Fulton Market, which, wait, isn't Fulton Market a little bit further from the United Center?
West Loop, yeah.
Why would they do that? So
it's in Shishi neighborhood, yes.
But this is before the actual All-Star game. I just realized this in Fulton Market. Fulton Market is, how far would you say Fulton Market is from the United Center where they're playing the game?
1.5 miles, 2 miles.
And that doesn't seem far until you realize that with Chicago traffic, 1.5 miles, 2 hours can be like an eternity. Seriously. It's like New York traffic minus 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It really is. But at the Fulton Market, you'll get to meet players and legends. They have an open bar, gourmet food. You can take autographs and interactive experiences. Well, for one person, at the cheapo seats, I'm talking about seats at the All-Star game and All-Star Saturday night that is completely obscure behind the basketball goals.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you can't see anything unless you're like looking at the big screen. For those tickets, it's $2,599 for one person.
Good Google Moogle.
And if you wanted to sit on the bottom, like the lower level on the sidelines, for one person, it's $14,999.
I'm thinking for that much, I would want to have like Dennis Rodman come back and kick me in the leg.
I was thinking for that much, I might want to sit with Mark Cuban.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's how much Mark Cuban's paying for it. Yeah. I might be able to pitch a thing up for Shark Tank to him. Yes.
Maybe have Steve Ballmer like pass me some popcorn or something for that price.
Might as well. I'm like, for that much, I want, I need a lock of Kawhi Leonard's dread or something.
So clearly with those prices, we are not going to the All-Star game in Indiana or in Chicago. But I'm betting that the prices will probably be lower in Indianapolis, wouldn't you say?
Thinking about the price of expansion. I'm not so sure. It might not be as much as Chicago, but I'm sure it'll be damn close.
Well, nevertheless, I'm hoping that we can go. And my parents live in Indianapolis. My dad, especially, who taught me how to love the NBA, he's going to be there. So we're going to work to hopefully, we're just throwing out in the universe, find a way to take our dad to the All-Star game, because I think that would just be just the best present we could ever get him. Because he loves it so much. If you think I'm an NBA All-Star fiend, he's just as crazy. Like, if Daddy misses a dunk contest, we talk about it excessively the next day. I know, because you've had to sit through those conversations.
Yeah, I'm just sitting in a corner like, well, here they go again. Geek 1 and Geek 2.
It's good stuff. Hey.
NBA Nerd 1, NBA Nerd 2.
So anyway, now that we've talked way more than we probably should have about the All-Star game, let me just say publicly, thank you, Big Daddy, for getting that for me. That is the world's best Christmas present. So
Yeah,
thank
which
you.
is great now, but by the time we get to this weekend or this Friday, I'm sure in February it will be extra special chili cold, as opposed to some of the other places that the NBA All-Star Game has been to. And I'm sure we're just going to be all nestled together in our like extra big coats, ready for this game. So I'm just going to have to get prepared now.
Yes. You know what, though? The best tickets in town will not be the NBA All-Star Game at all that weekend. You know where everyone's trying to get tickets to or find a way in?
The Chicago Idol Show?
No, Kenny Anderson's All-Star Party.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, not Kenny Anderson. Kenny Smith's.
Oh, the Jet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because every year, Kenny Smith, he's a former NBA player. Now he's an analyst for TNT Sports. He co-hosts Inside the NBA with Shaq, with Charles Barkley, and with Ernie.
McKenna and Ernie. And,
you do the best Charles Barkley impression.
I don't do the best Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley does the best me. I'm just saying, all this is just terrible. I don't quite understand. Shaq is always just shacking a fool. I don't get it, but I'm thinking, if there's a Kenneth Smith experience in Chicago, I'm thinking of Charles, that being me, and Shaq getting drunk and, I don't know, ended up skinny dipping in Lake Michigan. This might be kind of scary.
Okay, Charles.
The Chuckster is alive and well, yes.
So we don't get sued by Chuck.
Oh, Chuck ain't coming for me. He know I'm just a knucklehead.
But seriously, every year, Kenny Smith throws an all-star party, and it is supposedly the stuff of legends. And you got to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. I'm talking
the dude next to the other dude playing the other dude.
This guy is another dude.
Yeah.
You need to know that dude to get in.
So I gotta find a dude named Black.
So my question to you is, can you pull like some of that magical media working in the press kind of thing to get us a ticket to that party?
No.
You just straight up said no.
No. Computer says no.
You are not that dude.
No, I'm not that dude or the dude next to the dude who playing the dude.
Disguised as another dude.
That's right. I didn't call you a piccolo player, an NBA player, or an influencer. No, I'm not that dude.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Well, I'm going to throw it out to the universe. Maybe we'll run into somebody. Kenny, if you're listening, we promise we'll be great.
Yeah, Jet. I'm just saying, if King and Jet Smith is listening, dude, I will at least come and wash one of your cars.
One of your many, many cars.
I don't even care, if I can wash your kid's car or something. If I gotta wash your car, I gotta wash your car.
Yeah. Apparently his parties are usually well attended. Hollywood celebrities usually go. NBA stars used to go. And it's kind of like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I've heard some rumors of what happens at Kenny's parties, but every year I just hear that he just goes off the chain with it. And if you attend an All-Star weekend, that's really the goal, is to try to get into Kenny Smith's party.
Wait, didn't a couple dudes get traded, in the middle of Kenny's party?
I think so.
Okay.
Kenny's parties are wild, from what I understand.
Kind of scary.
So the last crazy thing that happened this week actually kind of intersects with what we'll be talking about later on, which is the best thing I ate this week. Because during this week, to be honest, I usually try to cook things in advance and either freeze them or things like that so we have dinner. This week, I have just been so crazy busy that I've not had time to cook. And so I've stopped at a couple places.
I thought we were going to talk about, I don't know where you were going with it. I was sitting here thinking about, okay, one day this week I decided to cook sausage that I had in the freezer, and apparently I put a little bit too much espresso over the top of it.
Okay, I wasn't even going to mention that. I still want to know why you put espresso on top of the sausage.
I read that somewhere. I don't even want to know where that recipe came from, but
Oh
If
my
you
God.
soak it in espresso for a little while and then cook it really fast, it's supposed to have therapeutic uses or something. And it
Where
in
did you even
absentia,
get that?
I forgot where I read this, but I thought it was supposed to be because we were trying a low sodium diet, and I thought in absentia of the salt, I would try this because I would give it a little kick. Apparently, I gave it too much of a kick, and oh lord, that was the worst sausage I had in a while.
You know, I wasn't even going to bring up the sausage. I was going to talk about how I went to the seafood restaurant
Yes.
and discovered the mukbang video.
Oh, we will so be talking about that.
Oh my God. So there's this restaurant, and I'll tell you guys about it a little bit later in a further segment that we have. We, in every podcast, call the best, what's a segment rather, we call the best thing we ate this week. And I can honestly say the best thing I ate this week came from this little restaurant that just opened like a month ago in Maryville. And come to find out, there are different places of it all throughout Chicago. But while I was waiting for my meal to be prepared, um, I was just enthralled by this video that was playing on this big screen TV. It was hosted by a woman by the name of B Loves, and she is a person who puts out mukbang videos on YouTube. And if you're not familiar with that, what they are basically is it started in Korea and now it's spread all throughout YouTube. There's a lot of American born individuals who are making videos in this trend too. And so basically what it is there's this person sitting at this table eating mass quantities of food. I can't even quantify how big the pile of food they're usually eating, right? I'm talking pasta, I'm talking seafood, there's this one I saw where there was just all sorts of fat food, fried chicken, you name it. And they're like eating this food on camera and talking to their audience. So B Loves is this woman that's based out of the United States. And her claim to fame is she really loves eating seafood. And I'm talking like these giant crab legs and things like that. And so she was talking with someone on camera, and I just couldn't stop watching. And I was partially horrified by what I was seeing. Because I had heard of mukbang videos. Actually, a previous long-term volunteer that I worked with at another nonprofit had tipped me off to this. But I've never actually seen one in person until I was waiting for my food to get prepared at this restaurant. And I was so enthralled. When Big Daddy came home from work, I was like, dude, drop everything. I have to show you something. And I showed you the video. And B Loves is one that's really, really popular. So like Cardi B is a fan. There was one where Tokyo Vanity of Love and Hip Hop was on it. Portia Williams and her sister from The Real Housewives of Atlanta shot a video with her. Even CBS This Morning shot a video with her recently where they participated. And it's always the same thing. So you'll start off with this big plate of, big table full of food. She usually says grace with whoever she's eating with. They'll record a picture that they'll use as the cover for the YouTube. And then it's like 30 minutes of them just diving in and you watch them eat and talk. So even now, Big Daddy, if you can see, he has this look of like horror. Because when I showed it to you, you were just like, what the hell am I watching?
Yes.
And I'm like, I experienced this, so now you have to. And you still, several days later, can't make heads or tails of it.
No, I cannot. At all. I'm sorry. She presented this video to me, and because I have seen some YouTube videos before of people, and as you would say, some amateur, some a little more professional, but they are giving their opinions on the food. But unless I'm wrong, the purpose of this video is not like advertising the food or the place where the food is coming from. but it's more video about people talking while eating food. So my mind going all circular was, you're here and you're just talking and not talking about anything special, just commiserating, but you're just eating food. And I'm watching you eat food.
And it's not just that, it's just that they're binge eating. So you're watching one person eat just several 100,000 calories easily. In fact, I read something in Men's Health that the people who are mukbang stars, they can inhale up to 4,000 calories in one sitting. So imagine that, eating well over a day's worth of calories in one sitting, and just the toll that can take to your body.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a really popular trend. In fact, I read somewhere that people who put out these shows can make up to like $9,000 in like weekly from
watching
like,
people eat massive amounts of food.
People are really into it. I'm not really sure if from what I read, there's two reasons they're into it. One is just the spectacle, like me. Like, I was literally, it was to the point where when I was watching this, my food was done. And the guy behind the counter was like, Miss Jennifer, because I gave him my name, it's done. And I looked at him and he looked at me. And I must have had this glazed over and looked at my face. He's like, yeah, your first time watching? I was like, yeah. And he said, most people usually get that way. So I'm not the only one. But then the other thing is that, and I showed you as well, there are some people that are really into the sounds that comes from eating the food. So that there is something called autonomous sensory meridian response, or ASMR. And so a lot of times the mukbang videos, they usually show people like crunching on things, or the sound that their hands make when they're like scraping the side of the bowl or things like that. And there are some people who are really sensitive to those sounds and really like it.
People who like this. I'm sorry. You can give it. I don't know whether to put on my therapist hat or my son of Mary, whatever. Son of whatever hat, because one of the first things my mama told me was never talk with your mouth full. One, so that's the first reason why it freaked me out.
Wait, would she think that way if she knew you're getting paid $9,000 per video?
I don't care what she was thinking. She would probably say, you say you're gonna kick in some of that 9,000, but two, close your mouth when you're eating, boy. So yeah, I'm sure if you're getting paid $9,000, I'm not going to knock your hustle, but at the same time, I don't have a thing about people sitting there crunching. That don't get down for me.
So I guess... Oh, you okay?
Yeah.
So I guess my plan to quit my job and start a mukbang video. That's not something that you'd be down with.
No. I can't. I'm sorry.
I don't think anyone would really enjoy watching me eat something like that. In fact, I don't know if anything that I could eat mass quantities of on camera and be okay with. Because I'm a foodie and I love food.
Mm.
But I'm trying to think, is there anything that I could, like, binge eat? Wait, plain M&Ms. Maybe plain M&Ms.
No, I couldn't do that either. I'm sorry.
I probably would over sugar at that point. But, so is there anything that if you were forced to do a mukbang video, where you would have to, like, eat, like, a wide quantity of something, what would it be?
The closest thing I would say that, and maybe this is in the mukbang tradition, the first thing that would come to my mind is I can eat probably a decent quantity of rice. I can do rice pretty hard.
But I don't think it'd be exciting to watch someone just eat rice. I'm not to say
I know
that
it wouldn't
people
have a
couldn't do
crunching
it.
sound or anything like that.
Well, no. It's just like I'm trying to think of videos that I've seen, because after seeing this video, I've been kind of mini obsessed. So, like, when I was running back before I totally fell out asleep on the train on the ride home on Friday, I was looking at mukbang videos.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mukbang videos, I think is how you pronounce it.
Okay.
But I know pasta's a really popular one. And I was even thinking, I guess I could probably eat pasta. Um, I don't know if you have, you know what? Honestly, I do know something that I can eat a ton of.
Crawfish.
Yes, I would actually binge eat crawfish. I would binge eat crawfish because I like can eat my weight in crawfish and then some. So
Yeah, her tenacity for crawfish and the destruction of the crawfish, in my mind, is legendary.
yet another thing that Big Daddy has seen me do that's kind of horrifying and intriguing at the same time.
Probably about as good as my destruction of a chicken wing, but
Well, no, you're horrified because you like if you've never eaten a crawfish, you guys, you have to pinch the tail and eat the meat out of the tail, and then you have to suck the juice out of the head, and it's the second part that horrifies you.
no, pretty much the whole thing is the whole destruction of it is horrifying to me, but that's just the whole spectacle that I did not know I was about to come into one day. And I still married her.
Yeah, he still married me. So, yeah, maybe that could be my side hustle. Because if people who know me know that I love a good side hustle, hence the store we opened and other things that we do. So if you guys see a mukbang video on the Plum Good YouTube site was just me eating crawfish, just know that, you know, that's our attempt to get some of that sweet, sweet YouTube money. So now that I think we've exhausted our week with, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we are going to talk about some of the big things that we read about in pop culture this week in our What's Eating Us segment. So you're listening to the Gourmet Goober, and we'll be right back. Hey everybody, this is JJ Outlaw, better known as the Gourmet Goober. And have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions like how do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all those apps that people like to listen to? Hey, how do I even make money from my podcast? Well, the answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise in your podcast. This means that you get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's kind of what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. I love Anchor. It makes it super easy from start to finish. The whole process can be done from the app, from recording to distribution. I just adore it. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast and while making money doing so, just go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Hey everyone, we are back. I'm JJ Outlaw.
And I'm T Outlaw.
And you're listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. And now we're in the part of the podcast that we put out every, I was going to say every week, but we're a bi-weekly podcast, where we talk about the things in pop culture in the segment that we call What's Eating Us. And this week there's a couple pockets. Oh my God, I am so slap happy, you guys. Couple topics that really come to mind when I talk about What's Eating Us. And I'm starting with something that I had just read, and I was so horrified. I emailed you about it because you eat Subway all the time. You really love their sweet onion chicken teriyaki?
Yeah, okay, first and foremost, like my favorite meal from Subway is walking in, grabbing a 6-inch or a foot long, if there's a foot long, steak and cheese. But yeah, my second favorite meal will always be the sweet onion chicken teriyaki.
And now come to find out, according to the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, you might not be eating chicken if you're eating that.
Yeah, what's up with that?
So here's the deal. Subway recently sued journalists at the CBC.
What's up with that? Someone journalist.
Okay, I know you're in your feelings a certain way because you are said journalist. Well,
Yes.
not said journalist.
I am
sued,
a journalist.
But you are a journalist. But here's the thing. If you ever thought something was a little bit off about Subway's chicken, you're not alone. So back in 2017, there was a team of reporters for the CBC and a show called Marketplace. And what they wanted to know was, when you like order chicken at like a restaurant, a fast food restaurant, are you really eating chicken? And so here's what they found out. They went and got samples of Subway's chicken along with A&W's, McDonald's, Tim Hortons, which, if you're not familiar, is a restaurant chain that is well known in Canada. And then they also went to Wendy's and they took it to a lab in Ontario and they wanted to test how much the chicken that's being served to people is chicken. Now, I know everyone automatically assumes that you're eating chicken, but
I would assume, yes, that I'm eating chicken.
But the results were kind of shocking. So they found that between 88.5 and 89.5 chicken DNA in all of the samples, except for Subway. So Subway's quote-unquote oven-roasted chicken is not even close to being all chicken. In fact, it's only 53.6% chicken, and the chicken strips were even less at 42.8%. So if you're eating Subway chicken right now, you are not eating all chicken. In fact, the rest of it was soy protein.
What the cluck?
I know, right? So they actually thought that they made a mistake. So they sent it to the lab again saying, what's up with this? And it came back with the same results. So because they're journalists, what happened next was the team at Marketplace actually broadcast the results of the study, but they actually reached out to Subway in order to say, so what's up with the fact that you're not serving chicken? And Subway decided that they were not really happy with these clucking results. And so they filed a $210 million defamation suit saying that the story was recklessly and maliciously published and that the study lacked quote unquote scientific vigor. So when it actually went to court, when they filed it, they actually submitted their own scientific evidence that the chicken was less than 1% filler. Well, the Ontario Superior Court disagreed with that whole thing. So the suit was dismissed by the court this week, basically saying that there are few things in society more acute interest to the public than what they eat. To the extent that Subway's products are consumed by a sizable portion of the public,
me included,
the public interest in their composition is not too difficult to discern and establish on the evidence. So, of course, Subway's going to appeal, but here's the thing. I just kind of stumbled onto this report, and, being a foodie and I love all things food news and things like that, I consume a lot of it because I want to report it on the podcast. So two things come to mind. One, I had no idea that this report was out because this report was out since 2017 and it wasn't reported here as far as I can tell in the United States.
True.
And then two, dude, how can you get away calling something chicken when it's less than 50% chicken?
I mean, I know that I'm not asking everything that's in a McRib, but or when they talk about BOLGNA.
Okay, you're not getting the whole thing there.
Yeah, we understand that there are going to be some discrepancies, air quotes, between what they call filler in certain foods, but generally if you say chicken, I'm expecting a yard bird. So damn it, yes, I'm a little disconcerted, but at the same time, as long as you tell me in some form or fashion that the chicken that you're delivering to me isn't always chicken, maybe I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. That being said, I'm sorry, if you don't tell me it's not all chicken, I'm a little in my feelings. 1, 2, you're still a journalist, but 3, this is the same company that hired Jared Fogle as your spokesman.
Oh, yeah.
Who is definitely in a problematic stage right now. But two, this is also the same company that had a little problem with getting the length of the bread right.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't a full foot long, right?
Yes, it was not a full 12 inches.
And kudos to the
American.
person who
I don't
measured
know.
that.
Yes. But still, yes, the full 12 inches American. I'm not sure what that, centimeter size would be in Canada. But two, weren't we having a discussion not too long ago about the Subway, what was it, the bread?
Oh, yeah, that's right. So here's the thing. Several years ago, back in 2016, there was a petition that was actually put out by a blogger who actually tested the bread of Subway, and she urged the chain to remove something. Now, I'm just going to say in advance, y'all, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know how to pronounce this. But I think it's called azodicarbonide. It's a substance that's also found in yoga mats. It was actually found in Subway's bread. And so this blogger, who's known as the Food Babe, and I've read some of her stuff in the past, she basically discovered this, and then she asked, hey, Subway, I don't want to eat yoga mat with my food. But here's the thing. Subway wasn't alone in having that in their food. I don't know if people know this, but according to a report by Bloomberg, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, and White Castle, and Jack in the Box all had the same chemical in their breads in 2014, but they've since gotten rid of it. Mm-hmm. So at some point, we were all eating yoga mats, basically, as breading. But Subway was one of the last restaurants to get rid of it. So the good news is they said that they've taken care of this now. But now, come to find out that their chicken is not even close to 50% chicken. So...
No, not to make any horrible jokes, but, while you're doing, like, downward dog on your bread, that could be problematic. I at least want to make sure that the chicken, because, I'm a big fan of chicken. That it's at least, I don't know, a good percentage of it being chicken. That would be helpful, but at the same time, just go ahead and call and just say, hey, we might have put some extra fillers in it. We can deal with, the benefit of it if you can tell us that it is as such without getting all in your feelings and trying to sue everybody for trying to tell people the truth. I mean, I'm just saying.
I have to say, honestly, all things being equal, I have been really thinking a lot about this topic this week because if you call yourself something, I would imagine that you need to be over 50% of that substance.
Yes.
So if you're less than 50% chicken, it's not really chicken, right?
Yes.
You're mostly soy protein.
Soy protein.
So sweet chicken, soy teriyaki, sweet onion, soy teriyaki is what you're eating.
Good Lord help us all. One, but
see, and you made a mistake eating an Impossible Burger. You've been eating it all along.
Oh, that's it. I'm done. I'm mad now. See, everybody's trying to sneak that stuff in on me. When I ask for meat, I want meat. This almost goes back to the Jessica Simpson discussion about chicken of the sea.
Oh,
is it really always chicken?
It was tuna.
Are we sure it is what it is? Because apparently Subway's been jamming us up like the whole time. Maybe Jessica Simpson was right. Was it really chicken or was it really something else?
Okay, first of all, chicken of the sea is really tuna, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That we know of. We want to make sure there's... Wait a minute, is it... I just want to make sure Charlie ain't lying to me.
Oh my goodness. So, just buyers beware. Obviously, anytime that you go to a fast food restaurant, what you're expecting to get is not always what you wind up with on your plate. And kudos to those reporters at the CBC for reporting this. So this is actually pretty great reporting. But yeah, that's kind of hella disturbing.
This goes back to, you remember when I said the worst thing I ate that one time was from Subway was when they did that brisket?
Oh yeah,
It wasn't on the up and up, and I was starting to wonder, like,
maybe it's
was it
not brisket.
really fully beef, or was it something else? Did y'all stick a lot of soy product and then like cover it up with liquid smoke? I'm starting to wonder now. I think they were flaming on us.
Well,
Well, I
whatever.
guess we ain't getting that Subway promotion either.
No, I don't think after Wave we um dog Subway. And I apologize, guys. Big Daddy has a little bit of the sniffles, so.
No, that's a full blown cold. But I'm powering through.
But yeah, that's the idea that you're eating something that's less than even 50% chicken kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So, again, kudos to those great journalists at the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation for unfurling that.
Blame Canada.
And speaking of leaving a bad taste in your mouth, the other thing that came about that really kind of got us talking over the break, since we were last recording the podcast, was this mess with America's Got Talent. And if you guys haven't heard about it, so basically in a nutshell, back in on around Thanksgiving, I think it was on the 26th, there was a report that two of the four hosts on America's Got Talent,
Both female.
both female, were let go. And at the time when they released Gabrielle Union and Julianne Hough, there was a report that came out in Variety that basically part of the reason why Gabrielle was released was that they had ruled her to be problematic. But under further review, what actually happened is that Gabrielle was released because she was trying to make the workplace at America Got Talent to be one in which it was kind of a good environment for everybody. And there were several instances. We're recording really late, you guys, so.
I'm trying to use my proper voice in saying this because in the instance of Miss Union.
But there was this article that was released by Yashir Ali on Vulture that really took hold online. And so there was behind the scenes talk about why she was really let go. Now, at the time in which she was quote unquote fired, they said, oh no, she wasn't fired. We just like to cycle through hosts just to make sure it's fresh and keep the audience engaged. Although I always find it interesting, they never cycle through the male hosts, only the women hosts. So when Gabrielle was let go, it was because of the fact that she had a very tense meeting with Simon Cowell, where she talked about several things that she was kind of concerned about. And she had several concerns as she brought them up regularly in NPC. For one thing, Simon Cowell had a habit of smoking indoors, which, by the way, is illegal. You cannot smoke indoors in a workplace like that.
In Los Angeles?
Yes. And in a lot of different spaces as well. And so it was something that was affecting her because she is highly allergic to cigarette smoke, and she's asked him several times to not do it, and he just insisted on doing so. There were incidents that were reported where they had problems with Gabrielle's appearance. So that if you watch America's Got Talent, which I very rarely do, although I admit I watched it a lot last season because I am a fan of Gabrielle Union.
No, you're not.
I am.
No,
okay, not of her personally.
Okay.
But I've seen several of her shows. Okay. All right. When I say not of her personally, I'm not, I don't have issues with Miss Union. What he's referring to is Gabrielle is married to Dwayne Wade.
Yes.
And when Dwayne Wade moved to Chicago and played recently for the Chicago Bulls, I made fun of the fact that I knew that she wasn't going to be living in Chicago.
Yeah, unlike Khloe Kardashian allegedly being in Cleveland. Let me use the word allegedly.
Yeah, I was just like, we're not going to see her at Garrett's Popcorn anytime soon.
No,
and I was right. I was right. So
I don't think she spent a great deal of time in the city of Chicago.
Okay, I personally love my home. Okay. We've had this conversation last week. I love Chicago. I consider myself to be a Chicagoan. So I take great offense when people don't love it as much as I do. like those politicians who go on and like criticize Chicago.
Yes.
I kind of get all in my feelings because you know what? Don't diss my home, okay? I will. I will fight a brother for Chicago. I just love the city.
Just say it's your workplace and keep moving.
I live in Chicago. Don't. Let's not get into that conversation again.
Yeah.
So anyway, but no, I have nothing against her personally. It's just I made fun of that. But that's being the case. They criticized her appearance several times, and apparently because she's changed her hair as a black woman's wont to do, and they said that, you know, her hairstyles were quote unquote too black, and the America's Got Talent audience won't connect with her because of that, which is crazy because do they not assume that black people watch this show? I mean,
apparently she didn't watch
y'all
it.
got Terry Crews as the host.
Well, apparently he wasn't changing his hairstyle every week. Or like Nick Cannon, who, well, I'm sure he changed his turban a few times, but that was his own problem.
And then there's an issue regarding a joke that was told by Jay Leno when he was a guest host on America's Got Talent, as far as one of the guest judges, where I guess there was a photo that was given to the judges and it was framed while he was there. And it was of Simon Cowell and his dogs. And Jay Leno made a racist joke about it. It looks like a menu at a Korean restaurant. And it was understandably problematic to the point where Gabrielle actually went to the producers and said, yo, this is not okay. And there was even reported there was an Asian staffer who was there at the time in which Jay Leno made that joke. And he felt uncomfortable.
Okay.
And so when she recorded to that, she had talked a little bit about it, and just made a number of just requests that, hey, you know, this may not be the best environment for everybody. And because of that, she got a reputation for being difficult, and they dropped her from the show. Instead of, I don't know, maybe taking her words to heart and wanting to create a better environment. So when I read this kind of upset me for a number of reasons, because as someone who works in nonprofit organizations and in the past work with organizations that supposedly focus on justice, but seeing hella problematic behavior from people who are supposedly interested in making an equitable workplace. I have been there, and I have certainly felt for Gabrielle to have herself dismissed over doing what she thought was the right thing for everybody in such a public way. I personally would never. Let me take it back. I know that I have had to go and address issues where someone made statements that are not okay, either because they're racist or homophobic. And these are leadership people that should know better. So having been in that situation, I know that had to have been really tough for her. So kudos to her for wanting to stand up for the crew, and not only just for the crew, but you really should read this report in Vulture by the New Yorker, because it goes through and it talks about how even there were segments on the show with people who were there either as performers and did blackface at one point, what she called blackface hands, because there was a male contestant from Italy who was doing impressions of various singers. So when it came to the point of doing an impression of Beyonce, he slipped on black gloves, to even going as far as when they were drag performers, asking them what's their preferred pronoun as a way of wanting to make the performers feel comfortable, and having been cut off from that as well. And it's just very disappointing, because we want to work in a workplace that everyone feels honored. And it just seems like, from what I read in this article, that the workplace that Simon Cowell, because he's an executive producer, and I think he's the guy who founded America's Got Talent based on Britain's Got Talent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just very disappointing that apparently he runs a workplace that isn't a very great place to work. And it's not a great place to work if you're not, in the majority, shall we say. And so for her to stick her neck out and get fired for it. I really feel for her. But then the backlash that NBC got, and rightfully so, has led in an avalanche of just backlash on Twitter from Hollywood celebrities all coming to her defense saying, hey, this is not okay. To now, I know that she, a couple days ago, had a long meeting with the producers at America's Got Talent.
And from the people of the programming directors at NBC.
Right. And I just read that, a couple hours before we decided to film or tape the podcast, Simon Cowell is now getting a lawyer as well regarding this. So wanted to get your thoughts, Big Daddy, because I know I've been running my mouth along about this, but I know we have been talking a lot about the situation and just having to be a person of color in a situation, having to be the person to stick up for others and making that. And I know you were kind of in your feelings too when you read about it, right?
I don't know if the word would be in my feelings, but if I'm going to be honest about this subject, I'm going to have to come at it from truth. And I'm going to say it like this. Okay, when I first heard, and this is me being completely honest, when I first heard this allegation come off the Vulture interview, I'm not going to lie, in my head, maybe a couple of things were ruminating when I heard that, Gabrielle Union and Julianne Hough had left the program. I wasn't sure why. I just figured the first time I heard Gabrielle Union actually joining this program, I was thinking this isn't going to last long because Gabrielle Union does have a personality which is kind of strong. Also, yes, being married to Dwayne Wade, whatever. That being said, maybe I was watching a little bit too much of Deliver Us from Eva, but I admit, somewhere in my mind, I kind of put a little bit of this upon Gabrielle. But that being said, I went into this, trying my best to defend the producers and the talent that was on America's Got Talent. That being said, as I delved further into this story, the more and more I read about it, the more and more I actually did a little research of my own. And I started to realize that programs that are not only affiliated with NBC, but more importantly, those affiliated with Simon Cowell have had issues not only with him, but also the people that he employs. That being said, they all seem to have issues with female co-hosts.
Oh, yeah.
About gender equity, and also their size and dress, and also their personalities and conflict with Mr. Cowell. And from that point, I started to read more and more because as my wife has so dictated to me or said to me that there were these stories are becoming more and more fluid, from this point. And I started to learn more and more that irregardless of what was going on with Gabrielle Union, and I haven't heard much from Julianne Hough, but a lot of the female co-hosts that may actually still be loyal to Simon Cowell or Howie Mandel or other former players on America's Got Talent and some of these other programs have said that, yeah, working with Simon Cowell is problematic. And, maybe it's just like, those tight-ass shirts, but apparently, yeah, he's always been problematic from the get-go. And I actually started to think about maybe Gabrielle was right. And I've been proven that, yeah, Gabrielle probably was right. I'm not saying that, without knowing everything that's going on because I wasn't there, that Gabrielle does have a strong personality. But working with the male talent on America's Got Talent, some of them good, some of them maybe not as great. And yeah, having people like Jay Leno come on and tell off-color jokes. I mean, I'm sure these things go on, but if she expressed to the management that this was problematic and this is the black backlash, that may have come up from it, then yeah, we have a problem. And the management of NBC, who has had sexual harassment problems for a while, has had to confront another issue now with this. So maybe the problem is the male culture in these programs that is leading to some of the female talent having to speak up and speak for their own. And I feel horrible about that now from where I started from before.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I wanted to point out something. Sharon Osbourne, who's now a host of The Talk, she recently spoke out about this when this became an issue. So that recently when she was on The Talk this past week, I think it was on Tuesday, they had asked her about what she thought about Gabrielle Union's firing, and she straight up called it a boys' club. So this is a quote from an article in Deadline, but this is what she said. She said, "It's a boys' club. Okay, it is. And the boys take care of each other, and the women are not paid as much as the men. I was on the show before Howie Mandel. I was one that helped put the show where it was." And she goes on to say that Simon owns the show, and at the time I was there, Simon was never on the show. But when the show was doing 16 million, 14 million, Simon was never there. I just go back to Simon's shows like The X Factor that he brought to America. And then, like you said before, about how the men are judged differently than the women. Mm-hmm. And she points out with The X Factor, it was Simon, it was L.A. Reid, who was an older man, and in between them was Demi Lovato and Britney Spears. And these guys looked like two high rollers in Vegas who picked up a couple kids. And she goes on to say, I told L.A. Reid and I told Simon, it's nothing I wouldn't say to their face. You look like two dirty old men, and excuse me, these are kids. They shouldn't be judging other kids no matter how successful they are. And she goes on to say, because she was also tied with America's Got Talent, and she was one of the original judges because she was on Britain's Got Talent before they brought on Howie Mandel. She said, look, they brought Howie Mandel in. He got his own plane. I love Howie, and I don't begrudge anyone earning what they earn. But my old ass has been here building the show, and I got an American's airline ticket, and he's in a private plane. So she hints that even the women make much less than the men that are on the show. And apparently this is by design, how the show is designed regarding these guys. Because think about it. They've never cycled out, quote unquote, Howie Mandel. And this is not to say anything against Howie. I like Howie Mandel. I think he's funny. I've been a fan of his since he was on St. Elsewhere. And I was a little girl.
Didn't he private plane because he was germaphobe?
Well, okay, that's probably why I won. But seriously, Sharon Osbourne, remember at one point Sharon Osbourne was doing Britain's Got Talent, and she was committing towards back and forth to do Britain's Got Talent and The Talk?
Yes.
So you could have hooked his sister up back then because she was easily doing double time work for them. And quite frankly...
And having to deal with Ozzy Osbourne.
Well, no, that's a separate issue. She married into that. But what I'm trying to say is that when you look at a lot of Simon Cowell's shows, I've never been a fan of, like, American Idol, you know that, and some of the other shows. But visually speaking, it did always have that appearance of these two older men and then these young, hot women. But then again, if you look at the entertainment industry, that's kind of its stick, so to speak. So on one hand, I always thought it was sort of creepy, but that's just me.
Yeah. Those Simon Cowell and those $5 wife beaters, you know.
Yeah. That's another issue entirely. But I've heard from, just a few people who worked with him as talent, even outside of AGT and some of the shows he produced. Because remember, for a long time, I guess he worked with some pretty popular like music groups and things like that, and that's how he got his claim to fame in Britain. But even then, if you look at some of the musical acts he's kind of groomed, they always had this certain appearance as well. I really am glad that people have come to Gabrielle's defense. Because I guess from some of the things that she has spoken out about, in fact, there's like this 10-year-old rapper that they were encouraged not to vote for because he's not someone that America can get behind. And that's hella problematic because I'm just like, why? Because he's a young black kid? I mean, what the hell? Why can't you not get behind someone who's talented? But as it turns out, he's okay because Tyler Perry gave him his own show. So, oh boy is going to be fine. But the point is the fact that this was allowed to just happen. And this is not the first season, apparently, this has happened. And this has been a toxic environment behind the scenes, and Gabrielle is just now bringing it to light with her firing. It really makes me sad because having worked in an environment like that and having to keep your mouth shut because you're just trying to feed your kids, okay? You're just trying to put food on your table, especially working in entertainment where you're like a stagehand, a production assistant, someone who works on the crew. A lot of times that work is intermittent. You're not really promised another job right away. So if you have a steady gig like America's Got Talent, you're going to do everything you can to keep it because you may not know once you get dropped from that show where you're going to work again. Yeah. So think about all the really messed up shit that those people have had to see and then have to like keep their mouth shut because they just want to feed their kids. So the fact that Gabrielle kind of stuck her head out, I mean, she's going to be fine. I mean, she's married to Dwayne Wade. She's girlfriend's getting paid for days. She'll be okay. But it's still kind of awful that you try to do the right thing and still lose your job. So you
don't want to catch those being married. You know, she'll be all right. She's still got those being Mary Jane checks and whatever. But
oh yeah.
But
girlfriend
then, of course,
is okay.
Yeah, but I do feel for the people who do have to work on America's Got Talent because, like you say, they are not guaranteed checks for everything. But all you can say is do your best because sure as hell ain't gonna get a job working for Jay Leno because it's Jay Leno.
Okay, don't get me started on Jay Leno.
I'm not going to.
Okay, all I can say, people, is Jay Leno has never been my favorite person. And this is even before he screwed over Conan O'Brien out of The Tonight Show, because I think that whole thing was kind of like, I'm going to give you a show, but then I'm going to do a show before yours, and then my show is going to suck. So you're going to lose your lead in, and then I'm going to get the show back that I didn't want to give up in the first place. Why put him through that? He moved his family and everything to LA, and that's so terrible.
I think he's still mad because he got bested by my alumnus.
Oh, no. That's a whole nother thing. Because that's why I don't like him, is how he treated David Letterman. Mm-hmm. And how he screwed Letterman out of the Tonight Show as well. So the fact that Jay told a racist ass joke in 2019, I'm actually not surprised by that.
No, that wouldn't surprise me.
So I'm not going to say anything about that because I'm not a Jay Leno fan. Except, dude, get a better line of jokes, okay? In 2019, no one's joking about dogs at a Korean restaurant. That's kind of shitty. And for Gabrielle Union, I heard that she met with the producers in NBC, so hopefully they'll take that to light. And if nothing else, I just hope that in her absence, other people are empowered to speak up because I just keep thinking about that Asian stage crew, remember when Leno told that joke?
Yes.
And just having to grin and bear it. And as people of color, we've all been in situations where we had to grin and bear it. And so she is a perfect example of how using your privilege is the right thing to do. So I hope that other people will be empowered to do such a thing to continue to make that show a better environment for everyone, because that's just not cool. Right. So let's wrap things up and move on from, toxic environments to American Got Talent to my favorite pop culture story of the freaking week.
Okay, now I'm intrigued.
And this is actually something that was just announced. So Popeyes, okay, everyone, lots of people are fans of Popeyes, and no one is a bigger fan of Popeyes than the Migos. So the Migos, if you're not familiar with them, there's this rap group. One of them, Offset, is married to Cardi B, so you probably know about that. I'm not going to talk about Offset, quote unquote, being hacked this week and got caught cheating on Cardi B. I'm not going to go there. I hope that's okay. I'm rooting for him because I love Cardi B. Not so much Offset, but I love Cardi B.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get my ass whooped or get stomped on by the Migos.
Yeah, they look like they could take you out.
No, they always look like they every award show they show up at, or every party they show up, somehow a fight breaks out.
That is true. But the Migos are also my faves, only because I love their rap snacks. And I've talked about this on previous podcasts before. If you're not familiar with the rap snack, get your life. It's actually this snack food. There's like chips and popcorn and things like that. And they're curated by flavors that are picked out by popular rappers. And I love the Migos because the Migos, I feel, is my spiritual rap snack equivalent because all of their snacks have a dab of ranch in them. And you know me, I'm obsessed with ranch dressing.
Yeah.
So the fact that they do that makes me love them. And this makes me love them all the more. So on Thursday, December 5th, food journalist Mike Jordan posted photos of Uber Eats' new Migos-centric Popeyes meal. So what happened is that the Migos love Popeyes so much, they rap about them in their music. They even have it as part of their tour rider, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in their tour rider, they're required to have Popeyes included in every meal or every stop that they go to. So in order to celebrate them, Popeyes and Uber Eats teamed up with the Migos to introduce a Migos-related menu that you can only get through Uber Eats. Now, it's going on right now. I think it's through January, and you can actually get it both in the United States and then also in Canada. And I mention that because I've recently learned that we have a lot of listeners from the Gourmet Goober in Europe, particularly in Germany. So, guten Tag, everyone in Germany. So, I just want to say to you guys in Germany, sadly, you cannot get this Popeye meal, but it's pretty awesome.
Play bien.
So listen to that. That's not even German.
That's French. European, kids.
Anyway, so there are 4 menu meals that you can choose from. The Tour Rider, the Quavo, the Takeoff, and the Offset. So the Tour Rider is when you want to get together with your homies you want to eat, right? So it consists of, listen to this, 20 crispy chicken tenders, 1 large container of mashed potatoes and gravy, 2 large orders of fries, 5 biscuits, a gallon of lemonade, and a collection of their sauces. And you can get that for $46.99.
Okay.
Now, the Offset meal consists of 8 bone-in chicken pieces, 1 large fry, 1 large mashed potato with gravy, and 4 biscuits for $21.99.
Okay.
Now, if it's just you and your partner, you can do the Quavo meal. And the Quavo meal, actually, I like this. This is actually pretty good. So you can get 2 chicken sandwiches, 2 regular fries, 1 regular mashed potatoes with gravy, 2 apple pies, and 2 small drinks for $17.99. And then if it's just you, you can do the Takeoff. So that includes 5 chicken tenders, 2 sauces, 1 regular mashed potatoes, 2 biscuits, and 1 apple pie for $9.99. Now, you can get it exclusively, and again, it's just through Uber Eats. So you have to order it directly through Uber Eats to take advantage of this. And it's from December 6th through, January 2nd. So it is through January. And the partnership actually came after Quavo. Listen to this. The partnership came after Migos members Quavo attempted to capitalize on the initial Popeye's chicken sandwich wave back in August.
Makes sense.
So what he did, he was actually reselling the Popeye's chicken sandwich. Remember I told you there was like a Migos member who was like buying a bunch of Popeye chicken sandwiches, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was reselling them to people. So they caught wind of it, right? And so they gave him their own meal. So, first of all, let me just say, epic.
I give him, status points for being able to kind of game into it, yeah.
And someone who appreciates a good side hustle, to be able to turn to reselling Popeye chicken sandwiches out of your car to get your own Popeye meal, that That is the shit.
I'm thinking of like homeboy
That is
coming up like
goals.
I'm thinking of him coming up with like a like a random big old truck, like a big old SUV just rolling up like some random place.
Can you imagine
Outside, yeah.
Quavo's like, hey, what a sandwich?
Hey, I know
What a
you ain't got
sandwich?
there's a big old line for sandwiches over there, so thus I could hook you up.
Can you imagine? Yo, aren't you Quavo? Yeah, what about it? Want this sandwich or not?
Yeah. The only dude's got garbage down the way.
So, what do you think about that? Because I'm sorry, I just think that's goals. I love that so much. I'm a big fan
of dude's property, and like, I'm down with the prospect because you sure as hell wasn't getting it on Sunday at Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
I'm just saying, the Chick-fil-A people, I don't see them making a deal with the Migos. I'm just saying, and KFC, too slow on the come up. So yeah, Popeyes is just winning every day with this whole prospect. When you even got the Migos, like, doing dirt for you. And who's making money off this? The investors at Popeyes.
That is true. So, first of all, if you're the actress who plays Chicken Annie on the commercials, I hope you're getting a hell of a raise. Because you just deserve it for just hanging around and just being part of this madness, one.
Yes.
But then two, oh my God. Popeyes is like totally winning, and they're not even trying if you think about it.
No.
Because, again, I just found this out.
They're putting more like work into their shade than they are like actual, marketing. Because their marketing is like almost free.
Yeah, think about how much marketing power they got this year without having to spend a single dollar. First with the craziness of the chicken sandwich, and then having the Migos love your stuff so much that Quavo tries to resell your chicken sandwich for $1,000. Did you know he was trying to sell it for $1,000? The sandwich?
Just a sandwich?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna say some words that I need to say. You know what? This is starting to come out like basically. I'm starting to think that Popeyes is like the Colombian dealers, man. They're like. And you got people like, doing your dirt on the street for you. Literally almost for free. They're getting like a $1, $2 like up, I guess $1,000 uptake.
But and, unlike Black Twitter, at least the Quavo and the Migos are getting paid for promoting it. Because think about it. They got this curated meal from Popeye. I just can't imagine buying it. Okay, the only way that I can justify paying $1,000 for the sandwich is knowing that you bought it from like a famous rapper.
No. You could literally right now have.
So there's no rapper you would pay $1,000 to get a chicken sandwich from.
Oh no, not Big Snoop Dogg. No, not let's just live like LL Cool J. No.
I pay $1,000 for LL.
No, I don't think you would. Because you ain't getting that. You ain't getting that $1,000 from me. Or your or from your paycheck. No. Nothing from LL, nothing from Joe or Ludacris or what. No. I don't think that's going to happen. No $1,000 chicken sandwiches. I don't care who it comes from. Oh, we don't get down like that. I'm just saying.
Well, if you guys want to hook up and try the Quavo Offset Takeoff Tour Rider meals from Popeyes, you can just go to Uber Eats. I'm sure you can get it in the app and order that. But remember, it's only available in the United States and Canada and only through January the 2nd.
Now, while I'm at, I'm thinking I should have me a TO meal. Like, a Big Daddy TO meal.
What would be in it?
What would be in it?
Yeah.
Well, we got to start off with some. I don't need a chicken sandwich. If I put together the TO meal, I would like to put together a nice order of chicken tenders, an order of the good Cajun fries. I'm not gonna do the red beans and rice, but you can't have a good Popeyes meal without the biscuits. And what the hell? Toss in a Diet Pepsi on that.
I was with you to the Diet Pepsi part.
I don't care if you have a Pepsi with it, just a Pepsi product as such.
I don't know what my meal would be. But I have to say, I really like the meals they have.
Do they have crawfish at Popeyes?
Nah, actually, no, they don't. Not anymore.
Okay.
The one in Louisiana does. They have a different menu in the
What's
one in
on
New
the
Orleans.
gourmet goober, like, rider here? Come on now. Give us something good. I think
Uh,
they should come straight out of New Orleans. Like, I think the gourmet goober meal, let me take a stab at this. It should come with, like, 2 chicken sandwiches. I think they should bring back a special thing of crawfish. And as opposed to biscuits, I think they should have a little inn with Cafe Du Monde and put them, what's them little things down there?
beignets, all
Put
right.
beignets on that piece.
We just dapped over that.
Yeah. With a thing
Oh
of,
my
like,
god, you
lemonade.
know me.
Yeah.
And you know what's missing? The dip for the crawfish?
Okay.
Cajun ranch.
Oh, good Lord. Double dab.
Oh my god, my husband knows me. Oh my god, you had me in beignets. Beignets and crawfish.
Beignets and crawfish.
Yeah, that would totally be my writer, actually.
The gourmet goober meal. Come on, Popeyes. Y'all got something coming in now. I'm giving y'all a hookup. And
Look,
this is
I'm
once
waiting for
again
my collaboration. I'm just giving it to you for free.
Yeah. That's another free, free advertisement from the Gourmet Goober podcast.
Oh my gosh. So, do you think this will inspire other people to do meal collaborations? Because I think this is brilliant, honestly. This has got to be the best marketing ever. Popeye's won 2019 foodie wise.
I'm thinking of like the Snoop Dogg meal.
Oh my god. It'll just be nothing but munchies.
It'll be nothing but munchies, but I'm guarantee that the chicken won't be fried, it'll be smoked.
You know what? Honestly, he should do a partnership with Jack in a Box.
I thought he was going to do with Chick-fil-A, yeah.
No, but Jack in a Box, because you can get anything at Jack in a Box.
Yeah,
Remember we
true.
talked about it last week. So
plus you get that all night.
Yeah, so yeah, get on that, Jack in a Box. Get the hookup with Snoop Dogg. That would be a good partnership. So look, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we return, we're going to close out the podcast as we do every podcast, talking about the best thing we ate this week. So you're listening to the Gourmet Goober, and we will be right back. Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/gourmetgoober and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download the title free and start listening. It's that easy. Just go to audible.com/gourmetgoober to start today. Hey, Audible's content is amazing. It includes an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original audio shows, news, comedy, and more from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, and entertainment. You gotta check it out. It's amazing. So to download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/gourmetgoober. Again, that's audibletrial.com/gourmetgoober for your free audiobook. Hey everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
And T Outlaw.
And you're listening to the Gourmet Goober, and we are wrapping up our podcast as we do every podcast by talking about the best thing we ate this week. That's where we share some of the restaurants, some of the places, and spaces that we found some really great stuff, and we thought that you should try it out. So, as always, we usually start this segment with Big Daddy and talking about some of the best things that he's had to eat this week. So, what do you want to share this week?
Well, I could be greedy and speak on the smoked ribs that I had a couple days ago that, I got down on.
Those were good.
Oh, that's right. I put in work,
Those were
kids.
so good, yeah.
Yes. I did my thing. But no, this week, the best thing I ate this week, usually I do take a little trip to Elephant and Castle from time to time in the Loop on Wabash, and I try to pick up a little poutine for little mom over here. She does like that poutine, but since we were playing it a little healthier, at least she is, I went across the street and I partook of a nice little spot in the Loop called the Emerald Loop, and which usually has Irish fare, nice, nice little Chicago hookup. But I went down south with it at Emerald Loop, and I had the Hickory Burger, which has brisket, has nice onions, has a good Angus meat flair to it. Oh, it was quite tasty and sumptuous. Oh, it was very, very tasty. So yeah, Emerald Loop was the best thing I ate this week. Hickory Burger, pub fries, off the chain.
Let me just say that I don't know if you remember, but remember when I used to work at that university that wasn't very far from Emerald Loop, and you would come and join me at lunch, and we would eat there, right? And we would always get the burgers. So I can totally vouch. The burgers are amazing, although I haven't had the one with the brisket. So I'm going to have to try that whenever I'm in the area. But oh my gosh, that sounds really, really good.
Yes.
And as always, everyone, if you're new to the podcast and you want to just say like, hey, I want to remember some of these places they talk about, just know that you can always find them in the show notes. So I'll include that. And it'll usually be a link to the website if they're available, as well as details about where it is. So my choice for the best thing I ate this week, and I had a lot of places that I could kind of choose from. One of the things that I could definitely say it's a runner-up, and this is probably going to be a surprise to you.
Okay.
In Maryville, they opened up their very first poke place, and I tried the poke and I wasn't that impressed, right? But
poke for you.
The poke was just okay.
Okay. Pokey was okay.
But for some reason, I was in Maryville earlier this week, and I was nearby, and so I was originally going to go to Portillo's, but the line in Portillo's was just crazy long. So my runner-up choice, because I do this when I can't decide between the two, would be at Pokeman, because believe it or not, they now serve ramen. And I'm like a sucker for tonkatsu ramen. Okay. That's the ramen, and usually they serve it with like pork belly, and there's usually like a ramen, like soft-boiled egg, and just really great noodles. It comes with this really thick pork-based sauce, the tonkatsu sauce. Tonkatsu broth is what I meant to say. And they nailed it. It was so good.
Nailed it.
I know if you're over the border, ramen is just like plentiful, like really good ramen places. And really good ramen is different than the stuff you can get in the grocery store. I'm talking like a really rich broth soup, like the type they eat in Japan and elsewhere. And if you're usually to get decent ramen, it used to be in Chicagoland. You have to cross over the border into Chicago. And there's one place I would send anyone, and that's Strings. Strings is amazing. But it's great to know that there's great ramen here in the region. So I would definitely recommend that. But my absolute winner for the best thing I ate this week,
okay,
going back to what we had talked about in the first segment, there is this little restaurant also in Maryville, Indiana. And again, I'll show the link. That is, well, it's not a true restaurant. Okay. It's hard to describe. It's like,
was it like a dive?
No, it's like a grocery store. Its technical name is the seafood market. And when you walk in, I was totally confused. It was the place to have the mukbang video on the flat screen TV. Okay. So when you walk in, you see when you go in a grocery store and you go in a deli section and they have like the display of meats and stuff. Only seafood, right? And then if you look to your left, there's like this little shelving system, and it has like cereal on it.
I'm sorry, did you say cereal?
Yeah, like they had like Honey Nuts Cheerios. And one of the things behind the counter, there's eggs, and there's like a carton of milk you could buy. So I was like totally confused. I was like, is this a grocery store? Is this like, what is this place? So
Mm.
I go in, the lady said, oh, would you like a menu? And she hands me this menu. And so what it is you can get, they just, they sell produce, they sell dairy products, frozen food, cakes, but their main thing they sell is seafood at this place called Fisherman's Island. And you can get your seafood raw, or they prepare all the seafood for you. Most people get it prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, they don't fry any seafood. You cannot get anything fried. So it's either steamed or baked, right? And they have this huge selection. And so it's everything from, jumbo prawn to snow crab. You can get lobster, you can get whiting, salmon, scallops. They even do crawfish, which is awesome.
Uh-huh.
And so you can get them individually by the pound and half pound, or they have these combos that are really reasonable. So all the combos come with, where everything comes with 3 sides: broccoli, corn, and potatoes, right? And then for the combo, like for example, the one I got the, what was it? The half pound, oh no, I got the snow crab cluster, crab leg cluster, and a fish, just like steamed fish. So I got tilapia with it. And first of all, it was really, really reasonable. So for one snow crab cluster and a half pound of fish, it was only $17.99.
Okay.
So, so it was really, really reasonable in terms of pricing. And you get a lot. Like the snow crab leg that I got was huge. It was, okay, it wasn't like big as what you see in the mukbang videos, but they were pretty substantial. And the tilapia, everything was really well seasoned. It wasn't too salty. They steamed the snow crab, they baked the tilapia. But yeah, you can get all sorts of amazing things.
I'm actually kind of impressed with it. As you said, the freshness of it, especially with it being, the only water body we have is like Lake Michigan.
Right, exactly. And I have to say, it was perfect. Everything was just really, really delicious. I cannot recommend it enough. I mean, they had this incredible butter that they seasoned that goes with it, so you can dip the crab legs in. I gotta tell you, I just inhaled all of it.
Goodness.
I intended to save some of the tilapia for you. Nah, that didn't happen. I just inhaled it all. It was so good. And I cannot recommend this place enough. It's sort of this out of the way place. You probably would never think to stop in it. But the really cool thing is they just opened, they said, maybe about a month ago.
Mm.
And they've just been quietly killing it on the seafood end. So if you are in the region of Northwest Indiana and you want to try really great seafood that's surprising, everything is takeout, so you can't sit in there and eat. But trust me, you'll get entertained by the mukbang video. And that plays there nonstop. And yeah, I cannot recommend it enough. So Fisherman's Island is my choice for the best thing I ate this week.
Okay, I like that. That's tight.
Okay, so you have been listening to the episode of the Gourmet Goober. Oh, one more thing. Are we going to record one more episode since this is the holiday season?
Would you like for us to record one more episode for the holiday, during the holiday season?
Yeah, because we have been super busy, as you can imagine, as a lot of people are this time of year. So I know that in between, me trying to get grants and everything wrapped up for the end of the year, and at the same time,
me turning older.
Yes, Big Daddy's birthday is coming.
Yeah. So
Can
did
I
not
reveal?
play. No, no, I don't think you can.
No, no, I'm not going to reveal how old. This the fact that you're a Christmas baby.
Yes, I am a Christmas baby.
Yes, Big Daddy is a Christmas baby, you guys. Which I am just really, really psyched about. So usually the holidays is a busy time. So the reason why I brought this up is that um, we were talking about taking a break for the holidays
Yes,
and then coming back in January.
I'm thinking about it very seriously now. I'm like, at the point of did not play old.
No, see, I wasn't going to say old, but
No, I'm gonna say it for you. I'm like Danny Glover. I'm too old for this.
so with that in mind, I believe this may be the last new episode of the Gourmet Goober for the year. However, don't worry because we have something really cool planned for you guys, for those who are regular listeners. Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna dance on top of the table here with the lampshade.
we are going to do that probably, but you're not going to be able to hear the audio. Sorry, there will be no video of that.
Thank goodness.
However, what I was going to say was the Gourmet Goober podcast has been something that we have been working on for quite a while. And we actually, for those of you who've been reading the blog for a while, you know that we have some older episodes. We call them Goober Bites of some of our culinary adventures that we took before we formally launched the podcast. So I still have some of those audio nuggets, so we may release them over the holiday break so that you can hear some of our other things we did before we took the podcast national. And if we do, I'll post them on our homepage, The Gourmet Goober, and put them in the RSS feed so you'll be able to hear it.
Okay. Tight.
Otherwise, we will be back in early January for a new episode of The Gourmet Goober, and as always, we'll go back to our bi-weekly schedule.
Yeah, good Lord willing.
So, where can they find you online?
Once again, you can find me online on Twitter at TOutlaw. That's TOUTLAW. And on Instagram at TOutlaw. Josie Wells.
You can find us, or me rather, online at JJ Outlaw, and always we have our Instagram page and now IGT channel as well under Gourmet Goober. And of course, you can always drop us a line at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com. For those of you who support the podcast as well, just know you can also leave us a voicemail through our Anchor connection. So there should be a link in the show notes on how to do that as well. And if you want to support independent media, just as a reminder, we do have our new shop. Woohoo!
Come on, give us that hookup.
And that's located at shop.spreadshirt.com/plumgood, PLUMGOODE. So for all of us here at the Gourmet Goober, we hope that you have a wonderful holiday, and we will catch you on the other side of 2020 in January.
Get that red cup out.
Take care, guys. We'll see you soon.